Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Eva Toby.
So I'm like 8 years old, 10 or 9, no, around 10 years old. And I'm playing outside with my cousins and my friend. And all of a sudden I hear, Buki! It's my grandmother, my dad's mom. She's Nigerian. See, I already knew what she wanted when she was calling me. It was to thread that thread through that little bitty needle. I'm thinking, man, I'm playing tag, hide and seek. Now see, my grandmother, she was a very skilled seamstress. She can whip together an outfit sort of like I have on now with no pattern necessary. Talk about a natural God-given talent. She indeed knew her purpose and her calling. However, with her being a little bit older, it was kind of difficult for her to see that needle, the thread go through the needle on the sewing machine. So I'd go ahead, go inside, help her with the task, prepare the thread, lick it, get ready to put it through the needle, all the while wondering, why is this needle hole so small in the first place? After several attempts, finally get it through, and I'm rushing back outside. Now, initially, while I didn't necessarily like being interrupted, because I had so much to do playing, however, after a while, I found myself to enjoy and love helping my grandmother. I actually found my purpose in helping her with that task. Now, as a child of Nigerian immigrant parents, I was always surrounded by family and love, whether it was from my mother, who would always ensure and instill in me to be confident and say things like, do not fear anything. You can be anything you want in this life. Make sure you put God first. And then my father, my twin. From the fact we have the same stature, we look so much alike, I was his pride and joy. He was always so proud of me and my accomplishments. He'd say things like, my daughter, yes. Good, very good. Now make sure you marry a Nigerian. Do you hear? Yes, Dad. You know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we indeed embrace that in my culture. In fact, there was really no thing when it came to immediate family. Everybody's your immediate family. Cousins are like your siblings. Aunts and uncles are like your secondary parents. That's why we find it kind of strange sometimes especially the Western part of the world where it's, mother, wife, husband, wife, children on one side, grandma, cousins, and everybody kind of do their thing on the other side. You see, that's why we loved our president, number 44 that is, the incomparable Barack and Michelle Obama. They even knew what time it was by moving grandma into the White House. My family thought that was the coolest thing. My mother, every time she see them on the TV, like, brother, well done, well done, well done. Hence why it wasn't out of the ordinary for my own grandmother to often come here back and forth to the U.S. for almost 10 years to take care of myself and a bunch of my other cousins like Thomas and Junior. You see, my family and my culture, they really instilled that sense of self, values, love, and of course, purpose. But that's not to always say I felt that way outside of that circle. It was the start of middle school, St. Mary's of Redford in Detroit. Hello. The season of what I like to call my season of awkwardness. The first time I actually started to question my purpose. Well, for starters, I'm 12 years old and 5'10" tall. Awkward. I hated it. I hated being tall. I would question God literally on a daily, like, what is the purpose of this? Why am I so tall? In fact, I even asked my mother and propositioned her, like, so is there perhaps a surgery that one can do to just shave the bones down on their legs? Just a little bit, just a little bit. And of course, in typical Nigerian parent response, first it's the side eye and the glare and then the hand shaking. Hey, you cannot be serious. You and your bones are fine just as God made them. But it just didn't seem fair. It seemed like all the cards were stacked against me. Finding clothes was a nightmare. The boys were intimidated by me. Oh, when it's time to line up for activities, I'm in the back of the line with the boys. I want to be in the front with the short girls, lining up, right? And just when I thought this moments of awkwardness couldn't get any worse, in comes the 8th grade talent show. my teacher approaches me. Eva, we have the perfect role for you. In fact, no one else can do this role. You're perfect. We thought of you and we thought of the role and said, Eva will do it. All you need to do is just stand there. I'm thinking, okay, cool. Sort of like this, hosting or maybe singing or something. Nope, we want you to be the Statue of Liberty. Oh, okay. But interestingly enough, something that I was agonizing and despised actually at that moment started to have a little bit more meaning and purpose. I thought, so only I'm fit to play this role. It was actually quite liberating playing Lady Liberty because I began to identify with the significance of my purpose. By high school, I'm now 6'1". Yeah, I grew a little taller, but it's okay because I'm embracing this purpose and this height journey. I get athletic, join the basketball and volleyball team, obviously. And of course, now the model craze is happening. You have the Naomi Campbells, the Tyra Banks. I'm inspired looking at these women like, wow, they're tall, black, lanky, look like me. I think I can do this too. And then I get introduced into the modeling world, and I love it. I'm doing trainings, fashion shows, the works. Next thing you know, I'm off to college, University of Michigan, go blue. Team Tall, that's right. Team Tall was in full effect. In fact, now I'm like, this is heaven. It seems like everybody was like an Amazon like me. From the sports teams to the women's basketball team, I felt good. I was really coming into my own. In fact, you couldn't even pay me to be shorter now because you start seeing people saying, wow, you're so tall, I love it. Or, ooh, borrow me a few more inches. And I thought, wow, the one thing I used to hate and despise, now people want to borrow. Eventually I graduate, get my bachelor's, 2 master's degrees, working for the state of Michigan, I'm on a road. Then I eventually take the plunge, drop the 9 to 5, and focus solely on my spokes modeling and hosting gig. Wonderful, traveling the country, enjoying life. It's starting to feel so purposeful. And then I want to take things to the next level. A good friend of mine, Shola, introduces me to my publicist and manager, Yetunde Taiwo of ICPR. And yes, now it's time to build this Eva Toby brand, really take things to the next level. From photo shoots to magazine features, we are on a roll. And there it was. September 2014, the unthinkable happens. I'm in my hotel in Chicago, just finished hosting a wedding gig. And I see a missed call from my uncle. I thought, clearly this has to be an error. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. But then the voicemail indicator goes off. I knew right then, this can't be good. I immediately start packing with no necessary plan in place. I just knew I had to get back to Detroit. But then I thought, wait, let me at least listen to the voice message. And then I play the message. And he says, Bukola, it's me. Call me back. I knew right then and there, this can't be good. I immediately check out of the hotel and park right in front of the hotel in my car. I get the courage to finally call my uncle back. He picks up and delivers the news. Thomas is gone. I immediately start crying. I'm devastated, crying uncontrollably. Not Thomas, not my cousin, not my little brother. You see, he was only 26 years old. And see, in my family, it was really unheard of to lose people so young. He was so purposeful, so full of life, so much joy to our family. I'm now devastated in a completely dark place. Everything was happening so fast. I was scared. I became so anxious, almost encouraging anybody that I came in contact with, my homegirls, my friends, listen, make sure that you're living life because it's so fragile and fleeting. You're here today, gone tomorrow. And I remember still being in a dark place and picking up my Bible after weeks of not doing anything. And these notes fell out. And there were some notes from a session that I did with a couple of youth at my church about purpose and the importance of it and about success. And I thought, aha, this is it. This is the message that I want to deliver, to aspire and encourage people to live with purpose. You see, because I've learned while this process has been painful, that success is not a matter of acquiring riches or wealth or levels. Success is purpose achieved. October 2015, the next cycle of losses. Another cousin and a family friend, which is like a cousin, both young, pass away, literally days apart. I'm devastated, very confused. Like, God, what is really going on? But even more encouraged to really get out this purposeful message. And just when I think perhaps this roller coaster of a ride is just going to idle down a little bit, March 2016, just 5 months later, my father passes away. I'm devastated. This is unbelievable. My whole world caved in. I remember looking up at the sky and said, Lord, if you sounded the trumpets and the rapture came right now, I wouldn't even be mad because this pain is excruciating. What does this mean? My father, my twin? How could this be? And I remember watching a Christian program, and this gentleman was on there telling his story, similar to my own, about how he too had lost his father and just endured a cycle of losses as well. And he was in a very dark and confused state, sort of like me. And then he had a turning point, actually at the bedside of his father, who had literally just passed away. He too was crying out, wondering why, what is going on? And then the Holy Spirit ministered to him and said, you're not dead, so God's not done. And I said, wow, so wait, there's purpose in the pain? There's purpose still in the pain. And while it's still all fresh, it was in that dark place that God's strength was further revealed to me. And he further revealed an even deeper meaning of my purpose. And that is to encourage people to make sure that they maximize their potential and fall in love forever with purpose. You see, we all have scars which tell a story, but it's those stories that encourage all of us that we too can keep going and survive. You know, my mantra is always the journey continues, because I believe we're continuously on this journey of life, and it's a process, sort of like the process of gold. It has to pass through the furnace of fire to come out as pure gold. The same way, I believe that the process is a product of your purpose. And therefore, I have to continue to encourage myself to keep going, because as long as I still have a pulse, God still has a plan and purpose for me in this life. God bless, peace and love.
We're sorry for your loss, Eva Toby.